Raylan stood quietly as the heavy doors of the Concordium V station opened. It was supposed to be just another meeting, just another long day of slow alien politics and endless talks. As a human diplomat, Raylan had attended many of these interstellar meetings. But this one felt different. The air in the station was colder. More silent than usual, he walked into the chamber where representatives of different species had gathered. Some were tall and covered in scales, others short and glowing faintly. In the center was a wide circular table surrounded by high seats, one for each representative. Raylan nodded to a few familiar faces and took his seat. He placed his notes in front of him and prepared for the usual routine greetings. Minor arguments, promises with no action, but before anyone could speak, the lights in the room flickered, a low hum filled the air, followed by a soft mechanical whine. The doors to the far side of the chamber slowly opened. Everyone turned. No one expected an arrival at this moment. No ship had been announced. No name had been listed. Out of the shadows stepped a tall, elegant figure. She wore shimmering armor lightweight, but clearly ceremonial, not for battle. A long cloth banner rolled tightly on a silver pole rested across her back. Her skin was a shade of pale violet, and her black eyes shone like polished stone. Her steps were slow and firm, each one echoing in the silence. She walked past each seated leader without bowing or greeting them. Finally, she reached the center of the chamber and stopped. With one smooth motion, she pulled the long banner from her back and held it high. A quiet gasp came from several alien leaders. The cloth unfurled with a snap, revealing a symbol no one had seen in generations, a golden star crossing a red storm. Stitched onto black silk, Raylan stared at it, confused. He had no idea what it meant, but many others did. A voice, calm yet filled with power, echoed across the room. "I am Commander Leorin of the Varellan Empire," she said. "And I raised the challenge banner to the human representative." Raylan blinked. "I beg your pardon?" "You are the one chosen to speak for your kind," Leorin continued. "By ancient law, you are required to salute me." The room remained silent. No one dared to speak. Even the usually loud Karen envoy leaned back in his seat, avoiding eye contact. Raylan stood slowly, confused but calm. "Salute you? I don't understand." "This isn't a military meeting. This is a diplomatic session." Leorin did not blink. "The banner has been raised. Tradition binds all. You must salute." Raylan shook his head. "With respect, Commander, Earth follows no tradition that forces a salute without cause, especially not from someone we've never met." A quiet buzz of whispers moved through the chamber. The old members of the council remembered what the banner meant. It was not a threat of war. It was worse. It was a challenge of worthiness, a question of a species' place in the great galactic order. Only the boldest warriors of the Varellan Empire could raise the challenge banner, and only once every few lifetimes. If the challenged species failed to respond properly, they would be seen as unworthy allies or worse, considered a weak race with no place in interstellar unity. Raylan, unaware of the full weight of the tradition, kept his ground. "I mean no disrespect," he said, his voice firm but calm. "But I don't salute symbols I don't understand. That's not how we do things on Earth." Leorin lowered the banner slowly, her face still calm. "Then your trial begins now." Raylan took a step forward. "What trial?" "You have refused the banner. And in doing so, you challenge my authority as a representative of the Varellan Empire. You must now prove that your people are worthy. You, human, will face the trial of understanding." The chamber shook slightly. It wasn't from movement, but from shock. One of the oldest members of the council finally spoke. "She's serious," the Grolfin ambassador whispered. "No one has passed that trial in over 200 years?" Raylan looked around. Dozens of eyes were on him, some worried, some curious, others filled with silent judgment. He turned back to Leorin. "Fine, I'll accept your trial. But only if you promise this. When I pass, you'll tell me why you raised that banner in the first place." Leorin's lips curved ever so slightly. "Agreed." The banner was rolled again. The moment passed, but tension remained in the air like thick smoke. Raylan returned to his seat. But he knew this was no ordinary meeting anymore. The real game had begun. The chamber was still, but tension filled the air like electricity. Raylan sat back down, his heart beating faster than usual. Everyone watched him closely. The diplomats from other worlds whispered quietly. The Varellans Liorn's people sat quietly but proudly. Raylan's mind raced. What was this trial of understanding? How was he supposed to prove Earth's worthiness? He had no idea what challenges awaited him. But one thing was clear: he could not back down now. Liorn stood near the center of the room, her eyes locked on Raylan with calm strength. She spoke, her voice strong and steady. The trial will begin in one cycle. You will be tested by your knowledge, your courage, and your spirit. Fail, and the Varellan Empire will refuse alliance with Earth. Pass, and you will earn respect and place among the stars. Raylan nodded, though fear and excitement mixed inside him. This was bigger than anything he had faced before. Over the next hours, the chamber transformed. Large holoscreens lowered from the ceiling, showing scenes from across the galaxy. Alien judges arrived, stern and unreadable. Some were fierce warriors, others wise scholars. The trial was set. Raylan's first test was simple in words but hard in practice. The test of knowledge. The judges asked questions about Earth, its people, its history, and its values. Some questions were about science, others about art and culture. Raylan answered calmly and clearly. He spoke about Earth's struggles and victories, about its many languages and cultures, about human kindness and creativity. Some aliens listened with surprise, others with doubt. One judge, an elder with 4 eyes and purple skin, leaned forward. Why should the galaxy trust humans? Your world has fought many wars among itself. Raylan looked the judge in the eyes. Because despite those wars, humans keep learning and changing. We make mistakes, but we grow stronger. We believe in hope, in peace, and in the power to change. That is why we should be trusted. The chamber hummed softly. The judge nodded. Once, then fell silent. Next came the test of courage. Raylan was brought to a simulated battlefield, an empty chamber filled with shadows and strange noises. The holograms created dangers around him, fierce creatures, sudden attacks, and illusions meant to scare. Liorn stood at the entrance. Face your fears, human. Show us your spirit. Raylan breathed deeply. He stepped forward. At first, the shadows moved like ghosts, whispering doubts. But he held firm. When a shadow lunged, he dodged quickly. When strange noises echoed, he stayed calm. Time passed, and Raylan moved steadily through the challenge. His body tired, but his mind stayed sharp. When he reached the chamber's end, the shadows vanished. Liorn's voice came from behind him. Well done. The final test was the trial of spirit. This was not about strength or knowledge. It was about understanding the true meaning behind the banner she had raised. Liorn led Raylan to a quiet hall filled with ancient Varellan relics and stories. She showed him paintings of great warriors, poems about honor, and stories of ancient battles where alliances had been made and broken. Raylan listened carefully. Then Liorn spoke softly. The banner you saw is more than a symbol. It represents challenge, respect, and trust. By raising it, I asked if humans were ready to join a family of stars that demand courage and honor. Raylan nodded. I understand now. It was never meant to scare me, but to test the truth in my heart. Liorn looked at him with a new expression, not cold, but curious. And what do you see in your heart, human? Raylan thought for a moment. I see hope. I see the chance for humans to be more than what they were, to be part of something greater. Liorn smiled faintly. Then you have passed. News of the trial spread quickly through the station. Some aliens were shocked that a human could stand the test. Others whispered that perhaps Earth was not the weak race they had thought. Raylan felt tired but proud. He had faced something beyond politics or diplomacy. He had faced an ancient tradition, and he had not broken. As he returned to the council chamber, Liorn approached him. You did well. Few have ever met the trial of understanding and lived to tell it. Raylan smiled. Thank you, but I want to know why now? Why test Earth after all this time? Liorn's face grew serious again. Because the galaxy is changing, old alliances falter. New threats rise. We need strong partners, those who can stand with us, not behind us, Raylan nodded slowly. And you think Earth can be that partner? She looked at him closely. I believe you can prove it. The next day, the atmosphere at Concordium V was tense but charged with new energy. Word of Raylan's success in the trial of understanding spread like wildfire. Many alien delegates now watched him with a mix of curiosity and respect. Some even whispered hope for a new future. Raylan himself felt the weight of expectation settle on his shoulders. He had passed the first challenge, but he knew more tests would come. Commander Leorin had said the trial was not just about courage or knowledge. It was about proving Earth's place among the great powers of the galaxy. Leorin approached him near the conference hall. Her expression was calm but serious. Raylan, your trial is not yet complete. You must now face the trial of diplomacy. Raylan raised an eyebrow. Another trial? What does it involve? Leorin smiled slightly. You will face the Council's leaders in a simulated negotiation. You must show that humans can negotiate fairly, with wisdom and strength. Many have failed before you. The simulated chamber was prepared quickly. Holographic images flickered on the walls, showing planets, star systems, and trade routes. Around the table sat digital avatars of the most powerful alien leaders, each with their own goals and demands. Raylan took his seat, feeling a nervous flutter. The avatars began to speak, each representing their species' interests. Trade agreements, military alliances, and territorial claims were debated. The rules were simple. Raylan had to find a deal that pleased everyone. At first, the talks were harsh. The avatars argued loudly, unwilling to compromise. One demanded exclusive control of a mining planet. Another wanted to limit Earth's trade rights. The tensions rose quickly. Raylan listened carefully, remembering the lessons of his trial. He spoke calmly, proposing ideas that balanced interests and built trust. If we share mining rights and rotate control every few years, we allow all to benefit, he said. If Earth gains trade rights here, we offer advanced technology in return. Some avatars nodded slowly. Others remained skeptical. Suddenly, a sharp voice interrupted. You ask too much, human. An avatar said, its skin rough like stone. Your people are weak. How can you make promises you cannot keep? Raylan looked the avatar in the eyes. We have past challenges no other species could. Our strength is in our spirit and in our willingness to work together. The avatars fell silent for a moment. Then a smaller, quieter voice spoke. Perhaps, it said. But what of honor? What of trust? Leorin stepped forward, her presence commanding. That is what this trial truly tests. Can Earth honor its words? Can we trust the humans to be allies? Raylan met her gaze and said, I will prove it, not just with words but with actions. After hours of negotiation, a fragile agreement was formed. The avatars agreed to a joint treaty that allowed shared resources and mutual defense. It was not perfect, but it was a start. The holograms faded, and the chamber returned to normal. The alien diplomats watching applauded quietly. Leorin approached Raylan and nodded. You have passed the trial of diplomacy. You speak well and your words carry weight. Raylan smiled, relieved. Thank you. But I feel there is still more to prove. Leorin's eyes softened for a moment. Yes, the final trial is the trial of trust. It is the hardest of all. Later that day, Raylan was led to a secluded garden inside the station. The space was quiet and peaceful, filled with strange plants and soft light. Leorin joined him there. This trial is not a test of words or strength, she explained. It is a test of heart. You must show that humans are worthy of trust beyond politics, that we can rely on each other in the darkest times. Raylan nodded. How do I do that? Leorin hesitated, then said, There is an ancient Virelin. Right? It is a simple gesture, but it means much. You must place your hand in mine, not as a command, but as a promise. Raylan looked at her, hand strong, but gentle. He thought of Earth, of the future he wanted to build for his people. Slowly, he reached out and took her hand. A spark of energy passed between them. It was not dangerous, but warm like the connection between two souls agreeing to face the future. Together, Leorin smiled. You have passed the trial of trust. That evening, a grand meeting was called. The leaders of the council gathered around the great table. Leorin stood beside Raylan. The human has faced all trials, she announced. He has shown knowledge, courage, diplomacy, and trust. Earth is ready to join us, not as a subject, but as a true ally. The chamber erupted in applause. Some leaders stood, others smiled. A few remained silent, still unsure. Raylan felt a mixture of pride and relief. He had done what many thought impossible. He had changed how the galaxy saw humans. As the meeting ended, Leorin pulled Raylan aside. Your journey has only begun, she said. There are challenges ahead, but together we can face them. Raylan looked at the stars through the station's window. For the first time, he believed that Earth belonged among them. After the grand meeting, Raylan felt a new sense of purpose. For the first time, he was not just a diplomat from Earth, he was a symbol of humanity's chance to join the stars. Yet, he knew this was only the beginning. Commander Leorin invited him to walk through the station's upper gardens. The gardens were filled with strange plants from many worlds, their colors bright and their scents unfamiliar. The sky dome above showed a soft blue light like Earth's dawn. Raylan, Leorin began, her voice steady. You have passed the trials, but there is more to learn. The galaxy is not only about laws and treaties. It is about trust earned in action. Raylan listened carefully. What do you mean? Leorin looked toward the horizon. Many species here have old wounds, hidden dangers. Some do not want Earth to join us. They fear change, or they doubt humans can live by our ways. Raylan frowned. What can we do to change that? Leorin smiled faintly. You must show them that humanity's strength is more than words. It is in your actions, your courage, your honor, and your loyalty. Days passed, and the station buzzed with activity. Raylan spent long hours with Leorin and other leaders, learning their customs and sharing Earth stories. He saw how delicate alliances were, how quickly trust could break. One evening, an urgent message arrived. A nearby colony was under attack by a group known as the Draxon's violent raiders, feared across many systems. The colony was home to a small Varellan outpost and several human settlers. The council debated what to do. Some wanted to send a large fleet to crush the Draxons. Others feared the attack was a distraction from a larger threat. No clear decision was made. Leorin turned to Raylan. This is your chance. Show them what Earth can do. Raylan understood. This was the real test, the proof that humans could stand with the galaxy in danger. The council agreed to send a joint task force led by Raylan and Leorin. The mission was simple but dangerous. Defend the colony, drive away the raiders, and protect innocent lives. Raylan and Leorin prepared quickly. The Concordium V station's shipyards provided a small fleet, fast fighters, heavy cruisers, and support vessels. Humans and Varellans trained side by side. Before the mission, Leorin spoke to Raylan. Remember, strength is not just weapons. It is knowing when to fight, when to protect, and when to inspire. Raylan nodded. I won't let you down. The fleet left the station, stars streaking behind them. As they neared the colony, sensors showed the Draxon ships attacking the outer defenses. The battle began. Raylan's human pilots flew with skill and daring. Varellan warriors fought fiercely. The combined fleet pushed the raiders back, protecting the colony's surface installations. Amid the battle, a large Draxon ship broke through and headed straight for the colony's central power station. If destroyed, it would cripple the colony. Raylan made a quick decision. He led a small squadron to intercept the ship. The fight was fierce. The Draxon ship was heavily armed and defended by many fighters. But Raylan's squadron used smart tactics, hit-and-run attacks, electronic jamming, and careful coordination. In the end, they disabled the raider ship's engines and forced it to retreat. After the battle, the colony leaders thanked Raylan and Leorin. The settlers, both human and Varellan, looked at Raylan with new respect. News of the victory spread quickly through the council. Humans had not only passed trials in a hall, but had proven their bravery in battle. Leorin turned to Raylan. You have done more than I expected. You have shown true strength. Raylan smiled, feeling the weight of her words. It was a team effort. We fought together. Leorin nodded. Yes, and that is the future. Together. Back on the station, Raylan addressed the council. Earth stands ready to fight for peace and protect the innocent. We are not just newcomers, we are partners. The leaders listened. Some nodded. Others remained quiet. But one thing was clear: humanity had earned a place in the galaxy's story. Leorin raised the challenge banner once more. This time beside Raylan. Together we raised this banner not as a challenge, but as a promise. A promise that humans and Varellans and all allies will stand united. Raylan felt pride swell in his chest. The banner was no longer a symbol of fear. It was a symbol of hope. The victory at the colony brought a new wave of hope, but it also brought new challenges. The Varellan Empire was not the only power watching Earth now. Others in the council had mixed feelings about humans gaining influence so quickly. Raylan sensed the tension each time he walked into the Great Hall. Some aliens still doubted humanity's place among them. Others whispered about Earth's potential threat. Yet there was no denying the respect many now held for the human diplomat who had faced the trial of understanding and lived to tell the tale. One morning, as Raylan was reviewing reports in his quarters, Leorin arrived. Her usual calm expression was replaced by a serious look. Raylan, we have a problem. He stood and faced her. What is it? Some members of the council refuse to accept Earth's new role, she said. They have formed a coalition to block any proposal that favors humans. They fear we will upset the balance. Raylan frowned. Can we stop them? Leorin shook her head. Not by force. The council works by consensus. We must find another way, Raylan thought deeply. We need to show them Earth's value not with words, but with action. Leorin nodded. I agree. And I have a plan. Later that day, Leorin took Raylan to a hidden chamber beneath the station. Ancient murals covered the walls, telling stories of past alliances and great battles. In the center was a large map of the galaxy, dotted with stars and lines marking trade routes and borders. This, Leorin said, is where the council keeps its most sensitive information. And this, she pointed to a cluster of stars, is the route to the planet Marek. It's a rich world, untouched by war, but close to the border of hostile systems. Raylan looked closely. Why does this matter? Because, Leorin continued, the hostile systems plan to invade Marek soon. If they succeed, it could start a new war that spreads across many worlds. Raylan's eyes widened. Can we stop them? Leorin nodded. We can, but it will take a strong alliance and fast action. Raylan smiled. Then let's build that alliance. The two worked quickly, gathering leaders willing to stand against the threat. Raylan spoke passionately about the need to protect peace, about humanity's commitment to defend those who cannot defend themselves. Some leaders listened and joined the cause. Others remained silent or left the meetings. Meanwhile, Raylan and Leorin prepared a fleet to move toward Marek. This time, Earth would not just prove itself in trials or battles nearby. It would take a leading role in defending their galaxies. The journey to Marek was long and filled with tension. Raylan spent time training with pilots and warriors from many species. He learned new tactics and shared Earth's ways of teamwork and resilience. One evening, as the fleet sailed among the stars, Leorin approached him. Raylan, she said softly, this mission will test everything we have built. But I believe in you and in your people. Raylan looked out at the vast sky. We won't fail, not now. When they arrived at Marek, sensors showed the enemy forces gathering at the system's edge. The hostile fleet was large and aggressive, ready to strike. The Council's fleet, smaller but well-trained and united, took its position near the planet. The battle began with a sudden rush. Enemy ships launched fast attacks trying to break the defense. Raylan watched the chaos from the command bridge. He gave orders quickly, adjusting tactics as the battle shifted. The human pilots fought bravely, protecting each other and striking where the enemy was weakest. Leorin led a squadron on a daring attack, breaking through enemy lines to destroy a key weapon platform. Despite being outnumbered, The Council's fleet used smart strategies and strong teamwork to hold their ground. As the battle raged, Raylan saw a large enemy cruiser moving toward the planet's main city. If it reached the surface, destruction would be total. Without hesitation, Raylan led a group of fighters to intercept. The fight was fierce and dangerous. Enemy fighters swarmed to protect their cruiser. Raylan's squadron fought hard. Using quick moves and clever tricks, they broke through and attacked the cruiser's engines. With a final strike, the cruiser slowed, then exploded into stars. The enemy fleet began to retreat. After the battle, cheers erupted on the command bridge. The planet was safe. The galaxy had seen what humans and their allies could do. Back at the station, the Council met again. This time, even the most doubtful leaders stood to applaud Earth's role in the defense of Marek. Leorin turned to Raylan and smiled. "You have changed many minds." Raylan felt a deep pride. "We have changed many minds together." Later, Raylan stood beside the raised challenge banner once more. This time, the banner waved not as a challenge, but as a symbol of alliance and hope. He looked at the stars beyond the station window and whispered, "Earth is ready." The victory at Marek was a turning point. More and more species began to see humans as equals, not outsiders. Still, Raylan knew the road ahead would not be easy. Old fears and grudges do not vanish quickly. One morning, as the Council gathered once again, a message arrived from deep space. It was urgent and troubling. A dark force, unknown and powerful, was moving toward the outer borders of the galaxy. It threatened peace and safety. The Council leaders grew silent as the message played. This was no ordinary threat. It was something ancient, something that had not been seen for centuries. Leorin looked at Raylan. "This will be the greatest test for all of us, and for Earth." Raylan nodded. "Then we must prepare together." The Council decided to send a joint fleet to investigate and stop this new threat. Raylan was asked to join the leadership team. It was a sign of trust. Humans were no longer observers but leaders. The fleet was large, made up of ships from many worlds. Raylan stood on the bridge of the flagship, feeling the weight of responsibility. The stars outside seemed darker, more distant. As they traveled, Raylan studied reports about the threat. The dark force was called the Shadrax, a mysterious enemy, known for destroying entire star systems. The fleet's mission was clear: find the Shadrax, stop their advance, and protect the galaxy. Days passed as the fleet moved closer to the Shadrax's last known location. The crews trained harder, readying weapons and defenses. Raylan worked closely with commanders from other species, building plans and strategies. One night, Raylan stood outside on the deck, looking at the stars. Leorin joined him. "The Shadrax are unlike anything we have faced," she said softly. "They feed on fear and chaos," Raylan sighed. "Then we have to be stronger than that. We have to stand united." Leorin nodded. "You have brought hope to many, Raylan. But this will test all hope." Suddenly, alarms blared through the fleet. Sensors detected a massive fleet approaching. Black ships with no visible markings, moving silently but quickly. The Shadrax had arrived. The battle began immediately. The dark ships attacked with strange weapons that disrupted communications and engines. Raylan watched as ships struggled to respond. Many were damaged quickly. He ordered his fleet to focus on defense, protecting key vessels and the command center. Leorin led a strike force to attack the Shadrax's front lines. Her warriors fought fiercely, pushing back enemy fighters. Raylan coordinated human pilots in daring maneuvers to protect vulnerable ships. Despite the chaos, the fleet held together. During the battle, a Shadrax command ship appeared near the flagship. It sent a strange pulse, trying to confuse the fleet's systems. Raylan's communications went silent. The bridge lights flickered. Without hesitation, Raylan activated manual controls. He ordered pilots to protect the ship while engineers worked to restore systems. The human crew worked fast and calm, repairing damage and fighting confusion. Slowly, communications returned. As the battle raged on, Raylan realized the Shadrax were trying to break their unity. They wanted fear and confusion to spread. He called a meeting of the fleet's leaders. "We must stay calm and trust each other," he said firmly. "The Shadrax feed on fear. We must not give them that power." Leoron nodded beside him. We fight as one. The leaders agreed and coordinated a new plan. They used careful tactics, protecting each other and attacking the Shadrach's weak points. Slowly, the tide turned. After hours of fierce fighting, the Shadrach's fleet began to retreat. The joint fleet pressed their attack, forcing the enemy to withdraw beyond the edge of known space. The battle was won, but at great cost. Many ships were damaged, and lives were lost. Raylan stood on the bridge, looking at the stars once more. The victory was only a start. The Shadrachs would return, but now Earth stood not alone, but as a true member of the galaxy's defense. Leorin joined him. You have proven yourself again, human. The galaxy needs you. Raylan smiled. We all need each other. Back at the council, leaders spoke of the battle as a new era. Humans were no longer strangers. They were partners, warriors, and protectors. Raylan looked forward to the future with hope. The journey had been long and hard, but Earth had earned its place among the stars. The years that followed were full of change. Earth was no longer alone in the galaxy. The Varellan Empire and many other species had accepted humans as true allies. Raylan had become a symbol not just for Earth, but for hope and unity among the stars. The challenge banner, once a symbol of fear and test, now waved proudly in many halls. It stood for courage, respect, and the strength found in working together, but change always brought new questions. Some still doubted. Some still watched warily. Raylan knew trust had to be earned every day. One evening, as Raylan walked through the gardens of Concordium V, he saw Commander Leorin waiting for him near a glowing tree. She smiled warmly. You've come far, human. Raylan returned the smile. So have you. We've built something good here. Leorin looked out at the stars. It is only the beginning. Many challenges lie ahead, Raylan nodded. But we face them together. Suddenly, the station's alarm sounded. An urgent message came from a distant sector, a signal of distress. A new colony was under threat. Raylan and Leorin rushed to the command center. The council quickly agreed to send help. This was no longer just about trials or proving worth. This was about protecting lives and the future. The fleet assembled quickly. Ships from many species joined the mission. Raylan stood beside Leorin, ready to lead as they traveled. Raylan thought about how far Earth had come from a species ignored to a leader among the stars. He looked at Leorin. We have shown the galaxy what humans can do, Leorin smiled. Yes, but the greatest strength is in unity. We are stronger together. The fleet arrived just in time. The attackers were fierce, but the combined forces fought bravely. Raylan's human pilots flew with skill and heart. The Varellan warriors charged fearlessly. Together they pushed the enemy back during the battle. Raylan saw the power of teamwork not just between ships, but between species. After the fight, the colony was safe. The council celebrated the victory. Raylan spoke at the ceremony. Today, we stand not as separate worlds, but as one galaxy. Together we protect peace and build a future, the crowd cheered. The challenge banner waved high, no longer a test, but a promise. Back at Concordium V, Raylan and Leorin stood side by side. You changed everything, Leorin said softly. Raylan smiled. No, we changed everything together. The stars outside shone brightly, witnesses to a new era, and so Earth's journey among the stars had begun. The human who once refused to salute the banner had lifted it high with honor. The galaxy was no longer a place of doubt and fear. It was a place of hope, courage, and unity. Raylan knew one thing for sure. The future belonged to those who dared to stand together.